Diary, hello. It's the middle of October 2021 and this is my usability review for the Lenovo IdeaPad 3 15 ALC6. So if you've been following the story on the WordPress, you'll know that this is the new laptop, and this review will concentrate on usability factors. There are other videos to cover the machine upgrades of the memory, the disk and the Wi-Fi card, and also performance. So back to usability. This laptop is now working fine as a workstation at home. In other words, I've got a laptop connected to a Bluetooth keyboard, shown here, Bluetooth mouse and 4K screen. In particular, this is a 40-inch 4K screen, Samsung screen. Works absolutely fine. So the first part of the review is to say, yes, it works excellently as a substitute workstation. It's got oodles of memory. In terms of performance, it's easily able to cope with a daily workload of surfing and at the same time running at least 2 or 3 virtual machines in the background. Okay, so we're going to finish with the workstation configuration, and we're going to now look at the actual laptop only itself. Disconnect that. Okay, so let's look at the laptop itself and how does it work as a laptop. So you've got a dual function machine. You're going to use it as a workstation when you're at home, connected to those various peripherals, but then you're going to be out and about. What are the good features? Well, we've already talked about in previous videos the physical expandability of the machine, so I won't comment on that further. In terms of the keyboard is backlit. That's a very important factor to me. It's also got page down, page up and home keys. So it's got the standard keys here that you're going to need if you're a touch typist. So I hate it when you have to do a function key and then something else to get to, say, page up and page down. If you're listening Apple, for example, would drive me absolutely nuts. I need a dedicated page up and page down keys and a home key. This has got those keys. So, very good point. Again, it's a backlit keyboard. The 17-inch model of this doesn't have backlit, and that's what I wanted to order, but I couldn't order that because it doesn't have a backlit keyboard. In terms of screen brilliance, this is a very bright screen. No issues there. In terms of performance, one of the points about ordering a very powerful laptop is it's very snappy. Now, this laptop is so fast that you are always waiting for the laptop. It's always waiting for you. You are never waiting for the laptop. I've had laptops which are so underpowered where you literally there's a kind of noticeable lag between as you touch the keys and the response on the screen. You never get that here. This is a really, really fast laptop. And although it's a 15-inch screen and not 17-inch, it is pretty big. I'm pleasantly surprised over the 14-inch screen that I've been using for a while. Decent aspect ratio, 15.6-inch screen. It's almost a 16-inch screen if you like. There's flip all difference between this and 16-inch screen. Very pleased with the size. In terms of log-on practicality, I configured this as a build-to-order machine with a fingerprint reader here. Now that fingerprint reader does not work under Ubuntu. I've checked, the hardware IDs there's no driver for such an ID. It's the LAN fingerprint reader, by the way. But under Windows 11, it's very convenient. You've got fingerprint logon, and that is a real bonus. So, plus for running Windows on this machine, Windows 11, and a negative for any kind of Linux. From an OS dependent point of view, what do I care about? Well, this machine was originally designed to run Windows 22 Server, but unfortunately that's not going to be possible because under Windows 22 I found out there is no touchpad support, not for any platform anywhere. So very disappointingly, we're back to Windows 11 or Ubuntu. In terms of OS dependent features, what I wanted was that when the laptop lid is closed, when the power is on, it simply keeps going, but does not suspend the laptop. And when the power is pulled out here, when the lid is closed, it does suspend the laptop. And when you resume the laptop, you need to put your user ID and password in. So that's possible under Ubuntu. It's possible under Windows 11. So that's a big plus. The only problem was with Ubuntu, you can't use fingerprint login. So that's really annoying. What other points do I have about this laptop? The power adapter. So Lenovo ships this laptop with this flipping cheap barrel adapter, and it doesn't use its standard square adapter. A really big disappointment. I didn't want USB-C charging, but I certainly didn't want this cheapo barrel connector. Very disappointed with Ubuntu for supplying this on this IdeaPad 3. Okay, it's one of their cheaper brand of laptops, but I had hoped for something better. So shame on you, Lenovo. And also the end of the power adapter has got a fixed British plug. So it's got the plug for the territory, and it's not changeable as it would be, for example, on a standard Apple computer. Other points, so it's got a character-based BIOS, which is kind of from the 1980s. I'm cross about that. Modern motherboards have a GUI-based BIOS with all sorts of fancy features, but laptops, apart from that, I would say probably Apple, have this very irritating, like let's say 1980s, 1990s character-based BIOS with minimal features. Not a fan. There just aren't enough things to twiddle on the Lenovo BIOS. It's very disappointing. What's next? Okay, sticking ports. So, what ports do we have, and what's good or bad about them? So, on this side, we've got the USB 3 Type A port. Works absolutely fine. This is a 4K compliant HDMI port. Works absolutely fine. This is a USB-C port. Does not work absolutely fine. So it might be the things I'm plugging it into. Well, it is the things I'm plugging it into, but the hardware that drives this USB-C port, I've had some hardware compatibility issues with, especially my Silverstone NVMe M2 drive. Most irritating. The earphone jack, microphone jack. Who cares? Surely you wouldn't be so dumb as to be using a non-Bluetooth device. I would use something like an Aeropex if I'm making calls, or if I am doing more professional audio, I would use a USB microphone of professional grade quality. So I can't see. I mean, if I was Lenovo, I'd take this port out. Doesn't make any sense. Okay, on this side we've got an SD card reader, a little light saying I'm on, and we've got a USB Type 2. So the ports are good. The machine is made of plastic. Now, is that a good idea or not? The top is kind of, it's either plastic or it's a kind of fake metal. It's really rigid. And the advantage of plastic is it's easy to produce. It's of high, it doesn't flex at all. I mean, it's a very, very solid laptop. But the problem about having plastic is that when you take off plastic cases, they tend to break. And indeed, I've unscrewed this a few times to do various upgrades, and one or two of the plastic tabs have gone plop. So you can't repeatedly open and close a plastic cased laptop without some damage. So that's a negative. Most users won't ever open their laptop, so it doesn't matter. And also, from a drop test point of view, if you're a student or you're someone who takes the laptop out a lot, there's a strong possibility you will one day drop your laptop. And plastic laptops don't do very well when they're dropped, because the plastic will crack, and if it's aluminium or other metal-based laptop, you'll just have a massive dent. So yeah, if you are a frequent taker out of the house and you're a bit clumsy, then this is a sort of £600 or £700 laptop plus upgrades. The next level up is an IdeaPad 5, which is probably a metal bodied laptop. So I would go for the metal-bodied laptop, but then you're talking a whole different price range. I think that's about it for the usability. I'm very pleased in the sense that this laptop works so well as a workstation when it's connected to my home setup. So I'm willing to forgive the fact that it's below par on some of the other features, like, I don't know, the ports are a bit annoying to me. The other thing, by the way, is port placement is poor. These ports are all stuck down here at the end. So when I've got a power adapter in, which is nearly always, and I've got this plugged in for the workstation, it's difficult to get this plugged in and out, and it's a bit stiff as well. So for USB 3, I would use that. So there's a few minor niggles in terms of daily usability, but overall I am extremely happy and would recommend this laptop to anybody. So I hope that finishes off the usability factors. Yeah, very well recommended laptop. It's extremely fast, makes a great personal workstation, and it's light enough and svelte enough to be carried out and about. Thanks for watching.